Hello and welcome to another Civ Leader rating. I'm Dame Offensive. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. Anyway, today we're going to be discussing Basil II of Byzantium. His leader ability is Porfiogenitos. Cavalry units deal full damage to walls when attacking cities following Byzantium's religion. Byzantium's ability is Taxis. Units gain +3 combat and religious strength for each holy site following Byzantium's religion. Religion spreads when units from enemy civilizations are killed, and +1 great profit point from holy sites. Basil's unique unit is the Tagma. It's a heavy cavalry that replaces the knight and grants +4 combat or religious strength to nearby units. Byzantium's unique unit is the Droman. It replaces the quadrireme and it's stronger against land and naval units, and it gets 2 range. Byzantium's unique district is the Hippodrome. It grants an extra 2 amenities to a city, and it provides a free heavy cavalry for each building, and when it's first built. The rating system I use is fairly simple. 10 is really designed for a feature, 1 is very bad, 5 or 6 is about average. First rating up is the science victory. For a science victory, you need science generation, and here Basil's going to get a 5. He doesn't really have any specific bonuses towards science generation. He does get those extra amenities which can give you a boost, but I think they matter more later in the game, whereas you need science kind of earlier in the game to get the ball rolling. So he's gonna just get a 5 here. Next is production generation. Here he's gonna get a 6, and I'm bumping him up a little bit because of those extra amenities that will allow him to produce the space projects really fast. In terms of additional abilities towards the science victory, he's gonna get a 5. Nothing really special here towards science. You could theoretically make your religion complement your science victory, but that's kind of a specific play and it doesn't really tie into Basil's abilities so much as your choice of religion. Average these all out and Basil gets a science victory capacity of 5.3. On to culture victory. In terms of culture generation, Basil's going to get a 7. You do get adjacency to theater squares from the hippodromes, so that can help generate a lot of culture as needed, since you do want to build a lot of hippodrome. In terms of faith generation, he's going to get a 9. Part of the reason for this is the extra great profit points will help generate more faith. In terms of additional abilities towards a culture victory, I'm going to give him a 7. And that is related to the hippodrome, really, because it's cheaper, which means you can get some pretty good wonders that the AI might not be able to beat you to. Average those out and he gets a culture victory capacity of 7.7. Next is religious victory. In terms of religion establishment, Basil's going to get a 9. The extra great profit point can really help make sure that you get that religion, even on higher difficulties. You probably need to consider a project, but you're better off than with many other civs. In terms of faith generation, we talked about that before. He's going to get a 9. In terms of additional abilities towards a religious victory, he's going to get a 10. Being able to convert cities by killing their units is amazing. And then you can take the cities more easily once the religion is there. It's really cool. And I'll talk about the synergy between domination and religion in my summary later. Average his scores out and he gets a religious victory capacity of 9.3. On to diplomatic victory. In terms of diplomatic favor generation, he's going to get a 5. He doesn't really have anything special towards that. In terms of culture generation, we talked about that before, he's going to get a 7. In terms of additional abilities towards a diplomatic victory, I'm going to give Basil a 4 just because he is sort of leaning towards wanting to declare war and spread religion, which could cost diplomatic favor because of grievance penalties. Average his scores out and he gets a diplomatic victory capacity of 5.3. On to Domination. In terms of combat bonuses, I think he's going to get an 8. Taxis is not that strong, especially on a smaller map, but it can help you as you plow through more civs. In terms of unit relevance and timing, Basil's gonna get a 10. The Tagma comes fairly early. It's very strong and fast, obviously, and your cavalry gets that bonus from when a city's following your religion, so its penalties against walls are gone, which means that your specialty cavalry is going to do really good work for a very long time. In terms of additional abilities towards a domination victory, here he's going to get a 10. The bonuses to attacking city walls when something is following your religion and spreading your religion from killing units just makes it so easy. And if it's a larger map and you have to go later into the game, you can save up some of your hippodrome to just print out new and free units that can move really fast to make it to your front line. Average your scores out, and he gets a domination victory capacity of 9.3, which means that he has a perfectly even religious and domination victory capacity, which I think makes sense, and we'll talk about that more in the summary. In terms of versatility, first we're going to average his scores out, and here he gets a 7.4. In terms of reasonable alternatives, I'm going to give him a 7. Basil is really oriented towards either religion or domination, and he's fairly average in other respects, but you could easily lean into culture, so I'll give him a 7. In terms of ease of change, I'm going to give him a 10 here. The synergy between religion and domination is perfect. Average his versatility scores out, and he's going to get an 8.1. Additional notes about Basil II of Byzantium. In terms of terrain, he doesn't really have anything in particular to look out for. From what I've seen, he tends to spawn with maybe a little bit less production than I'd like, so you might want to look for that when settling. In terms of game modes, you probably want to play with Apocalypse for the Soothsayer bonuses to combat, since you'll need less faith for spending on your religion. In terms of city-states, you probably want to look more for suzerain benefits than yields, because if you're playing towards the domination religion, you might benefit more from the suzerain bonuses than generating extra production or faith from the base city-state benefit. In terms of wonders to look out for, the Colosseum's probably a good one. It'll help with the culture generation and amenities. And because of your quick hippodrome and then your free units, it means that you can beeline it a little bit without suffering too much. You probably want to consider the Mahabodhi Temple for free apostles to evangelize in case you don't have that great faith generation. Other civs to look out for. Be careful of those that spam anti-cavalry. Greece could be a real problem early game. My summary of Basil II of Byzantium. The synergy between the religious and domination game is really perfect. You can easily kind of start both at once without costing too much in terms of resources in either direction. It's kind of easier to do the religious game in one way because you could send religious units in one direction and then send military units in another direction so that your religion is spreading evenly on both sides of you. And just make sure when you're attacking to attack units to spread the religion before you attack the city. And then the heavy cavalry printer is just so strong. You can wait for your great units like the Tagma or later in the game, the tank, and you'll just get them totally free from your hippodrome and its buildings. It's so strong. He really is perfect for spreading out and conquering and getting that religion going. But that's going to be it for my rating of Basil II of Byzantium. I've been Dame Offensive. If you like what I'm doing and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. You know how YouTube works. Goodbye.